Hello, my name is Barry Humphreys. I'm a Territory Manager for Pottinger UK, and today we're at Border Plant just in Cheshire to show you this top 762C Classic Twin Rotor Rake. This is a lower linkage mounted machine, and the chassis comes through, as you can see, a very strong chassis there, right to the back end where we have a steering axle on this machine. This machine is fitted also with the optional 340 slightly wider tyres. Okay, so that's the beam. We've got a nice high lifting action when this machine is in and out of work. When we're on the ground, obviously that's fine, but when we're lifting, nice and high, up out of the way, in other words, not fouling on any swaths that we've previously made. So that's part of the chassis configuration that we have with this machine. The heart of any rake, I suppose, is the top Tech Rotor, which we have here. If you think of it, that's the yellow part of the machine. We like to keep the rotor part of the machine as big as we can, but the tine arms as short as we can. That inherently gives us a lot of strength. Okay, so keeping that yellow part, the diameter, as large as we can, keeping these tine arms as short as we can. The shorter they are, the less susceptible they are to bending. It's a serviceable rotor. Basically, by taking two coach bolts out here and this screw out, the whole unit would come out, and it's a very easily serviced rotor. If you do happen to stray into a telegraph pole or whatever, it's a very easy rotor to look after, and that gives us access to what is basically what we call a dry rotor. Although there's a grease nipple on the top here where we can grease the cam track on this machine, we are only putting grease right into the center of the cam track. The cam track is not flooded with oil. Okay, when you flood them with oil, you have the problem of sealing against leaks in that rotor. We don't have that problem, and as I said before, it makes the rotor more serviceable, that should you need to take a tine arm out for any reason, you're not going to be fighting a flood of oil that could come out when you withdraw that arm. Okay, we've got the largest diameter cam track on the market. The diameter of the cam track is the largest on the market. We like that because we generate less heat within that rotor because of the diameter of that cam track. Larger diameter cam tracks tend to run cooler than smaller diameter. All right, and we have more gentle lifts on the cam track. In other words, the lifting of the tines in and out of work is a very gentle action. All right, due to the diameter of that cam track. Also, look at this bearing spacing between the inner and the outer part of this box section here. That bearing spacing is around 600 millimeters. All right, good strong hole to that shaft, spacing those bearings as wide as we can to get that strength that we really demand out of this machine. When we come to the tines themselves, you've got 4 tines fitted onto each tine arm, and we've put tine savers on as standard, which is this plastic cap here, which is not only bolted to this tine but also to this one inside this tube, bolted to both of those tines. Okay, so should anything go wrong on this end, this tine cap here will catch the tine before it flies off into the crop. What I want you to do is have a look at the pitch of the angle of our tines when they're not under load. They are pitching forward. You can see that they're pitching forward. So in other words, we're getting a nice lift on the grass, lifting the grass, bringing it around, and this helps us to keep a nice helps us to get a nice clean sweep off the back of this rake. Why we do this is when this tine comes under load, the worst it can do is come back to the vertical under load. Okay, it cannot get any further away from the ground. If with some of our competitors you start off vertical, what happens is as the tine comes under load, it moves further away from the ground again. All right, so we start off forward. We cannot therefore move any further away from the ground when we come to the vertical point. But if you start off vertical, you are going to arc away from the ground, and that will mean that you will leave grass behind, and also you will not get a nice clean edge on the edge of the swath which this system gives you. Okay, so that is very important for us, that pitching forward of the tines at the bottom. The final sort of cherry on the cake for us is the multitask wheel. This wheel has been proved time and time again, done by tests by the DLG, the German focus group, and it is an outside jockey wheel. All manufacturers out there will provide you with as many wheels underneath the rotor as they can. All right, we are the only manufacturer that offers this multitask wheel. In other words, a wheel outside of the rotor. And what this wheel does, it helps us to guide the machine, the rotor individually, each rotor, guide the rotor over the humps and hollows that are within the field before the tines actually strike that hump. Okay, so that helps. So the undulations, this wheel will carry the rotor over those undulations before the tines get to it. Clean forage for healthy animals. That is the Pottinger way. All right, so that multitask, unique to Pottinger. You won't see it on any other rake. It's not a gimmick, it works, and it's been proved by the DLG over 4 cuts in a season that this can prevent approximately 207 kilograms of soil that you per hectare per year, working on 4 cuts. That amount of soil that you do not get into your silage by having this wheel. It's all about ash content and keeping that out. All right, so that's the very important part of this rake. Have a look at the build quality, the finish of these machines, and all that remains for me to do is to say that there is a finance package available on this machine, a 0% finance package, and if you're interested at all, please contact Border Plant Sales in Cheshire. Thank you.